Alright folks, hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host Josh, and this is part 31 of our Let's Play of Head as Code. When we last left off, we had gotten our final letter here, and a path in which we sort of finally got to be the villain in charge for once. We bullied Agnos around and outwitted him, and then just took E with us to leave pretty forcefully. And then we ended up on some small island where we lived out the rest of our lives relatively peacefully. And so now we have everything we need to unlock this final lock over here. But before we do that, we have what I assume to be a final bad end to sort of see what awaits us here. So this time we're going to go to the stores alone and leave Ray behind. Here we go. Alright, head to the pantry and I'll go to the stores, the room the twins explored. Sounds good? Then we'll meet at the bedroom once we're done. Before I can elaborate further, the door's closed. Ray didn't look like he wanted to follow the plan I suggested, but since I waited that long and the doors had closed, he wouldn't have any choice. I love giving Ray no choice. This played right into my hand to avoid him going to the library. Perfect. Brocane Station, Bibliothèque. Wouldn't leave there anyway. My stop was the stars. Didn't take too long for the train to get there. Since we took the train first, nobody would be here either, allowing me to have full reign over the findings in this place. I stepped out onto the station. So far, everything was the same. There was the same lobby, the doors didn't close because the station was already solved. I ascended and found myself in the stars. See, I'm definitely curious about a lot of things in this room. You can almost make out the text there. Oh, it's the signs, like Libra, Scorpio, okay. Which wasn't much of a room, all things considered. It was so dark I could barely make anything out. As I stepped into the place, I quickly hit my foot in the side of a table or something. Damn it! First, I had to find a light switch. Stumbling around the room, I didn't see anything like that. Maybe on the walls there would be one. Near the door? Wait, where was the door? Couldn't even tell. I thought maybe if I blindly grabbed around, I might figure out its location. Oh, this should be good. I mean, this kind of looks like a door to me. This was... Oh, no, it isn't. The door's here, probably. What was this? A giant telephone? Could I have made calls from here? No, I couldn't. My search continued. This was a door? I tried opening it, but it wouldn't budge. Maybe it was locked, or the room needed to be lit up for it to work. Or maybe it was just made to look like a door, and it wasn't one. My search continued. Maybe this thing turns on, and then lights up the room? This was a spacious table. I followed the board with my hands, and realized it was in the shape of an octagon or something. It's a good thing Hajime isn't here. I have no idea what this is. It had 8 sides, and on top of it was a spherical dome. I wish I could have seen this firsthand, but without the lights, it would prove fruitless to try. My search continued. Alright, what about over here? I could feel something cold and round. Some sort of pillar. Might have been marble? The detailing on it more or less proved that fact. On top of it was something, a container. Some kind of chest, maybe? Finally, I found the booty. This was what all the true pirates strive for. Arr! Arr, matey! Find me that light, will ye? Lest I make ye walk the plank. My ship continued. Alright, what about this thing right here? This was the door I came from. I twisted the handle and it flung right open. I fell out the room with a heavy thud. Ouch! Really need to find the light switch, or else this will have all been for nothing. My search continued, sadly. This door only led back out. I was already exhausted, and I barely found anything in this stupid place. I still couldn't find the lights. Perhaps there had been none? Did that explain why the twins took so long to solve this place? I mean, just look at this. This does seem like the most intense puzzle room we've seen so far. Couldn't blame them. I'd be in a foul mood if someone gave me a room to escape and it was plunged in darkness. That's like 25% of escape rooms I've done, though. Is someone upstairs? See, I actually know the proper protocol to follow here, so that we don't all get decapitated. That was the old man. What was he doing here? I stepped out of the room to meet him in person before he climbed and ruined everything. Yes, I'm here. Coming. I walked down the stairs until I came down to his side of the station below. He was next to the lobby, right outside of it. Is there anyone else up there? No, it's just me. Oh, great. Well, let's take care of this quickly, then. What's the matter? Everyone's leaving to search a new station, so I came to fetch you. You've been gone for quite a while. Yes, I met Ray, and we decided to take a look around the stations everyone already searched. So is Ray already back? Oh, is that right? That seems a little needless. Might accidentally find something you shouldn't. I have good reason to think Ray is suspicious of setting this entire thing up with the twins. Jay and I found some video of the security room, and we've been investigating to clear up those suspicions. You believe Ray may be Smiley? Maybe not that far, but at the very least, I think he doesn't have clean hands. I mean, have you smelled those things? The old man walked in the lobby after thinking about everything I said for a moment. So you're saying Jay can corroborate the fact Ray is suspicious to everyone else? Yes. Perfect, then. We can go back to the lounge and arrest him as a group promptly. Vigilante justice. You see, if there is a hint that he is Smiley, I wish to take it. He belongs to an organization doing terrible things. That organization took my wife away a long time ago. I could never forgive them. Okay, well, it's good to know that you've got some personal stakes in this, and you're not just, you know, an insane person. The old man's sad smile was a terrible contrast to the determination he was revealing to me. Was he that focused on revenge? He was unwilling to concede someone may yet be innocent? I shook my head at his offer. Wait, that's a little hasty. Still, I'm not going back yet. I have other things to do first. Oh, but you will, my boy. See, I have the best tool to prove Ray is a thorn in the group's side. However, it will require your complete cooperation. Are you gonna say Ray killed you? Is that where this is going? Before I could agree to his offer or turn it down, he shot me right in the chest. I mean, once again, you gotta give it to A. He doesn't hesitate. He just goes with his plan, you know? I fell backwards, sliding down against the back of the lobby's wall next to the stairs. I had no idea where he got this gun, but not knowing this had been a fatal mistake for me. As you two have split up from everyone else, he was the only one who knew where you were, and he shot you. Ray couldn't bear your presence in his grand schemes. As an agent of the MTS, he wouldn't take chances. Now that's interesting. Because we would assume before that any mention of the MTS was some weird sound-alike, like homonym to the MTS. Is he saying that Ray actually belongs to the Montreal transport system? I don't get it. As the old man made up his own version of the facts, I saw someone else outside the doorway. It was the girl, the eccentric E. Were they both in on this part? Jeez, have you forgotten everything about E? I didn't believe Ray truly was an agent of the MTS, whatever that meant. He wasn't. Maybe that's just what we're hearing, is hearing it as MTS. He wasn't hired by the Montreal Transport Society, not with his uniform. He had to be a clerk or a teacher, maybe? I will carry you back to the lounge, and everyone will witness what a horrible deed he has done to you while you were alone with him. We will catch him and bring my wife's murderers to justice. It is time we find out the truth of the matter, and your help is invaluable. Thank you for your sacrifice. I mean, you really are going off of this based off of just something Simon has said. I mean, yes, you checked to see if this could be verified with Jasmine, but like, this is an awful small thing to go follow your complete plan on. Soon my revenge will be complete. You're the one who... Nonsense! Your help is a great contribution, don't be so modest. As life slipped away, I slowly lifted my hand and weakly closed all my fingers until only the middle remained upright. Oh, you two have a fun relationship. That will make a great epitaph for you. Sleep well. My body fell back down like a marionette when its strings were cut. And then, darkness. Well, alright. Well, there's our Star's bad end, and our last bad end, I assume, based on what we've seen here. The truest embodiment of an endless circle. Let's go on our ride one last time. Whee! Alright, let's smile and shine once again, perhaps for the last time now. Yeah, see, this time, there's no dead as code. I wonder when that shows up and why. Alright, anyways. Alright, let's just... can we come here? Is this... finish this segment for the summer? Yeah, okay. I think if we go right here, this will just be right at the point that we enter the code in. Let's do it. Okay, so. We came back with E, having decided to check this room out. I thought about it, but I just couldn't figure it out. Until finally, it struck me. A painful headache crept upon my head. It enraptured my brain and squeezed so hard I thought I was going to die. I dropped the remote onto the nearby table and fell down upon it. Ah! Why does it hurt so much? What the fuck? My hands closed in a fist and I banged under the table a few times. I banged with my fists, with my forehead, with my whole body. The pain was excruciating. Someone help! I called for help in my head, knowing full well nobody would answer. Several long moments of this pain followed. It was as if my head was filling with a great deal of information. Too much, in fact. Finally, it ceased. I breathed heavily, panting without any idea of what just transpired. However, something felt different now. This was just like the time at the station. All my memories came back to me. I remembered everything. The letters... I know them. Finally, after I stabilized and stood back up to my feet, I entered the 5-letter password following the instructions on the remote. The 5 letters were E-I-L-Y-M, and the reverse order was... Miley. Okay, this was not the order that I thought it was. Huh. And that was it. As soon as I turned the remote to the reinforced door and pressed the send button, the way in was open. Very slowly, the door creaked open. It looked supremely heavy when it was closed, but now, as it moved just enough to let me grab the side and pull it wide open, it looked older than anything else. Beside me, Eve was holding herself, as the movement of that door opening had most likely sent off some intense vibrations through the ambient air. What's going on? What did we open? Alas, I couldn't answer her. Instead, I pulled her into the room, confident that I could finally prove my innocence. This would solve everything, I thought. Next to me, Eve wasn't quite in a state of panic yet, but she was clearly getting there. As we both stepped into this place, past the small scanners on the walls and ceiling. Are we outside? I wish I could see. Something about this struck me as odd. She could see, no? I knew it. She had eyes. This headset worked to rebuild her vision. It would be done very soon. If that was the case, then she would finally be able to see soon. Why was she panicking? What is this? Where are we? We're not supposed to be here. E, please calm down. I knew it was useless to try, but I couldn't communicate with her otherwise. Instead, I reached for her arms to stop her. She was gesticulating, and any wrong movement could hurt her in this place. No, no! I want to see! Take this thing off! I need it off! I want to see! I knew the headset she had was almost done doing its job, but like this? It wouldn't finish. I tried to help her, but she shoved me away with remarkable strength. I hit the wall with a dull thud. Ooh. E, stop! I looked around the room in my daze. This place was a bit like some kind of escape room similar to those we had earlier. If E could calm down for 2 seconds, I might have been able to... Ah! This is wrong! This is all wrong! What is this? Why? No! What? I turned my head back to E, snapping to the source of the noise while quickly standing up. The sight that greeted me was so strange I could not move. E's skin was smooth. Smooth skin. I saw her smooth skin. At that moment, I saw that right in front of me, E had no eyes. Her skin was horrifically smooth, as if she had never had eyes to begin with. A normal human face should have had eyes, a nose, ears, and a mouth, but Eve was missing some. She had no eyes, and she had no ears. She had no eyebrows. So I don't know why, but like the rest of us, she's some kind of artificial being? Like a clone or a robot or something along those lines. I don't know why she would need this thing to reconstruct her when the rest of us don't, though. She was featureless. Not only was she missing some vital components to her anatomy, she was also aware of it. She panicked, terrified of herself. Her hands searched her face in vain. All she could find there was smooth skin. I also felt my face as a result, but I didn't share her situation. I can't see! I can't see! I can't see and I can't hear! That vision of horror cemented itself into my head. A few more seconds passed by me as I remained frozen, unable to think, unable to understand. What was happening to E? I tried looking away, but the more I tried to do so, the more I was glued to the sight. This was unnatural. This was inhuman. Time had come to a standstill as I stared, frozen in my inability to process what my eyes were seeing. What was this? As time passed, I wormed my way out of my stupor. Finally, my arms, which felt like lead before, were capable of moving again. I reached for her to try to help her, but she shoved me away again in her panic. Ugh! I landed against the machine with the switches, after which it took me a second to stand back up. At least following that, E seemed to have calmed down. I looked at her again as I rose. She stopped gesticulating entirely, dormant against the wall like a marionette with its strings cut. She did not even seem to breathe anymore. E, are you okay? I quickly lunged towards her. Oh, no. I had to do something about this, but what? What could have caused this? The strangest part was how she had fallen dormant right after shoving me. Did something happen in the room? Did we, when she shoved us against that wall, we hit the switch that controls this. That switch controls her. That's my guess. I had to take a look around and help her promptly. I'd been so focused on helping E that I hadn't noticed there was this strange machine in the middle. It was kind of like... it was a large containment unit. As I approached it, I looked inside. There was someone. A person was floating in this vat. I didn't know who this was. Was this the 9th person? Was it one of the others? Yeah, go ahead. Let's take a look here. Huh. Is this what will become E? And then actually have a face? No, they wore a mask. I recognized it instantly. Smiley? The 9th person held in suspension within the vat was Smiley, or this person. At least that's what some of their attire suggested. None of this made any sense, however, as I had memories of one of the twins also wearing Smiley's helmet. Yet inside this vat was a woman, not a little girl. I could tell by her general body and shape. It was a grown female body, perhaps slightly old. There was no time to look at this for too long. I reminded myself I had to help E, and I also had to stop Agnos and his mad rampage. Oh! I was not expecting this. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Oh boy. Okay. Let's do this. Alright, let's look first. I approached the machine in the back, the one that had a bunch of switches on it. I fell against it earlier when E pushed me aside. Bringing my attention back to the machine, I couldn't understand what these switches were all for, although I realized one important thing. There were 9 switches. When I'd entered the room, 8 had been up and 1 had been down. Now a few of them were scrambled. Are these for our collars? Suddenly, I felt like it wouldn't be a good idea to mess with them. What if it did even worse? What if it triggered the collars and we die? Yeah, I'm very much of the opinion that this is not for our collars, but for our robot selves. Ugh, I don't have a choice. I need to see what happens if I... but maybe I shouldn't... I took a moment to look at this vat. The person was still floating inside, attached with thick cables and tubes. Who was this exactly? They were a woman. Wait. Jasmine? Is that you in there? I couldn't be sure yet. If it was Jasmine, then she had grown older, which is weird, because most people don't grow older in time. Alright, what's back here? In this box was a diary of some sort. There was no lock on it, as if it was inviting me to read it. but read which part. I mean, we'll do all of it, but let's start at the beginning. Page 1. Dear Diary, I write to you today because I have no idea what I'm doing. I've enrolled in some school. It's the University of Montreal. Okay, so this is definitely Jasmine, I'm gonna put in quotations. All of this is very new to me, so this is probably Hannah Jasmine. This is the Jasmine that Hannah became, or the how do you phrase this? This is after Hannah got put in a body that was like Jasmine with Jasmine memories. Hopefully I will learn how to keep a diary, and I will enjoy companionship as I was bid to do. Perhaps I will even feel something. Page 2. Dear Diary, today I managed to impress everyone with my prowess in computing equations, quantifying signals, and calibrating brave waves in a theoretical field called noematics. Now that's the thing that that Marco does. Maybe this is Marco. However, I'm still sad and lonely. Everyone admires me for my skills, as they say I'm a prodigy. I still feel nothing despite that, as if I'm cold and empty inside. Page 3. Dear Diary, a few men came to me today to offer me a job. They were so impressed with my prowess that they said they could bring me through a screening process. They will come back in a week. Until then, they said I should prepare as much material as I can to prove myself in front of the entire board of directors. Is this stress? Page 4. Dear Diary, today I managed to land a job. It's been a while since I wrote anything, but I wasn't sure if I had time. I am now officially a part of... That part's completely crossed out. Could be the empty S, if this is Marco. Page 5. Dear Diary, the job I'm doing can be very taxing. I'm under strict contract to never reveal what I'm working on, but some of it makes me really wonder if this is the right way. They are paying me an outrageous amount of money, though. I wonder what kind of rich person could even fund all of this. Page 6. Dear Diary, it has been a month since I last wrote. During this time, something magical happened. I'm sorry I couldn't write. I had a lot to focus on. What happened was that I met a boy. No, I just saw a boy, that's all. I didn't really meet him. I feel shyness. I feel butterflies. I don't know what this is. Something in me was interested. I don't know how to process this. I will write more later. Well, that's bringing me back to make me think this is Jasmine. That's not to say that Marco couldn't be in love with us too. And I'm assuming it's us. It could be someone else. Page 7 has been ripped out. Page 8 goes as follows. Dear Diary, I did it. We finally created the first gem. It's code for Gamma, and the rest is crossed out. Page 9. Dear Diary, I renamed the gem to something else that seemed more fitting. We're going to attempt putting someone's thoughts into it and see how it works. I hope this won't be a mistake. My attraction to that boy is growing stronger every day. I don't know why I feel this way. This isn't love, is it? Either way, he hasn't looked at me even once, like he doesn't even notice me. Page 10. Dear Diary, the experiment failed. The Emily didn't function properly. I think this is going... Okay, so this has got to be what E stands for, right? I think this is going to take me a lifetime to get right, to make fully functional replicants. Despite that, I vowed I'll succeed. Soon we'll be able to keep people alive for centuries without degradation. And then, we'll be able to move forward like never before. Page 11. Dear Diary, I'm bad. Nothing is currently right. I have been chosen to oversee this. I don't know what to do. At first, I was glad, but now that I learned what it is, I don't want to do it. If I don't do it, though, he's going to die. Why was he chosen too? The boy I like. He was chosen to be put in this. What do I do? I don't want to lose this job, but I also don't want to lose him. I don't have a choice. I need to oversee this. I need to save him. Hopefully my precautions will prevent me from dying, but if I do die, then the entries end here. Whoever that boy is, he sure is misfortunate. I think it's you, Simon! Alright, let's close the diary. Simon closed everything up and returned to the search of the room. This was a notebook. There was a lot of pages with a bunch of useless stuff. It was talking about noematics? What the hell was that? It also had a bunch of footnotes about causality. Alright, well let's learn about noematics. Noematics, or applied noematics, is the field of study researching thoughts, what thoughts consist of, and the transfer of thoughts. By likening the human mind to a series of electric currents, wave signals, and compression of readable data, it is possible, in theory, to recreate minds based on exact brain patterns and memories. An individual is made up of memories and experiences, which means if they were replicated to an exact degree, then the individual would exist twice as themselves. Which is exactly what's happened here with all of us. An outside piece of material is necessary for transplanting memories, but they are highly unstable. It is much safer to recreate events leading to a certain memory to make a stable memory. Most dangerous of all is the transmission of data by emission of waves. Any head that would come close to the waves would receive the memories, possibly mistaking them for visions. Wait, what does this mean? I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Does it mean that when I was having some visions, a thought flashed in my head? This did happen before. And not just once, either. I remembered when my head came close to Jasmine's for that kiss. I had visions of the train I could just not get rid of. They were haunting me in that moment. Could it be that those were fabricated somehow? A twin leaned forward over the counter to look at what Agnes was preparing. She suddenly started talking about a terrorist who had planted bombs in a metro. Did something transmit that memory to her? And all the times I held E or supported E, only to feel like I could fully trust her. Was this also something that was being transmitted? The real question is, where are those transmissions coming from? I couldn't answer that. I needed more information. Sadly, as the pages went on, this became too confusing for me. I couldn't glean anything else from this. Alright, but what about causality footnotes? In accordance with the laws of causality, a cause must always have an effect. The reverse is also true. An effect must always have a cause. If nothing causes anything to happen, then nothing happens. That is why, in the event of an effect being observable first, all causes of it will be forced into existence. This is the anthropic principle. Because it was observed later, all that led to it exists. If an outside source came to witness some events, then other events would need to pave the way for said events to happen. As knowledge is impossible to unlearn, any witnessing would create it for all time. So it's saying, because we're here now, other events needed to exist? Am I getting this right? This isn't helping me save E, but for some reason I couldn't deny the fact that this was somehow important. Simon closed everything up and returned to the search of the room. Alright, well, let's touch something. I hesitated, took a deep breath, and then made up my mind. I didn't have any choice. Nothing else in this room was helpful in any capacity. Well, here goes. I flipped one of the switches to the other side. It was the fourth one. Nothing happened. I mean, if it's going in order of numbers... God, I don't remember the numbers well enough. I know we're 2. And... E must be 7, then. Fuck, if anything happened to Agnes's collar, I can't know like this. Wait, there are 9 switches. 8 of them were switched to what I assumed is on. What's going on with the 9th? Why is it off? If nothing bad happened to our collars while they were on, then most likely nothing bad would happen if I switched the 9th one to on as well. I took the plunge and did it. Right away, I could tell the change was coming from the vat in the middle of the room, right? Yep. It was, to put it simply, draining away. As it did, the person inside moved slightly. I watched in awe. The woman inside of the vat slowly removed all the tubes connecting her to it, and when the water was low enough, she took off the helmet she wore. What is going on? Who are you? I asked as the glass separated us. It was an old woman, just as I'd surmised. The glass lowered enough to let her step through, which she did momentarily. I backed away to give her some space. With Smiley's mask, I hadn't been able to tell who it was, but without it, she looked somewhat familiar, and she looked very old. She must have been at least 90 years old, if not even older than that. So, it has come to this. I sensed no hostility from her. She looked very sad, though. I caught the glance she gave towards E's body. Wait, are you... question hung on my lips, and I couldn't finish it. She patiently waited for me to do so, but seeing as I couldn't, she chuckled. Let me catch my breath first. It has been so long, after all. Moving after being in suspension for this long is very difficult. The voice that came from her had a low tone, but I could still feel as if it was kind of melodious and pleasant. She pulled a chair from under a nearby table and sat down in front of me. What's going on here? Why does E not have eyes and you... Who are you exactly? Are you Smiley? She chuckled at that. Her manners could have used some polish. I wonder about that now, too. I am indeed Smiley, but... No, that's not quite right. Without S, I am only Emily. Ah. Okay. So in some way, we are also involved in this? My full name is Emily Fiction. It is not my real name, but that is because I have no name. This is the name I gave myself. It is as good as any, I hope. Emily. I didn't know anyone named Emily. Wait. Now that I had a good look at her, I realized what felt familiar before. I took a glance at E's body. No, not Emily's body. E's body. Was this body, which didn't move anymore, Emily's body too? I could tell her face was similar, even without the eyes. Her hair was arranged similarly as well. That is correct. I am Emily, and she is Emily. Both of us are one and the same. Although that part is not entirely correct. She is an Emily of Emily. Emily stands for Electro-Autonomous Memory-Driven Informal Library, which gives the Emily acronym, named after myself, their developer. Okay, so the diary we're reading was E's. Or Emily. She sighed wistfully, shaking her head. But one thing at a time. We have many topics to cover now that we are here. We sure do. And folks, we're just about at time here, so we're gonna have to cover these topics next time. And I'm gonna have to reflect on some of the things we've already learned. Boy. Okay, alright. Yeah, I'm gonna need some time to have my brain sort this one out. Until next time then, this has been Downstage Gaming. I have been your host, Josh, and I will catch you all next time.